Thought I'd share a video about this new Kreg jig that I just picked up. They had a deal on it where you got a free clamp with it, so I decided to order one. Originally going back years ago, I started out with this little micro jig that got me hooked on using this Kreg joinery method with the screws and pocket holes. And that served me, good for a while. And then eventually they came out with this R3 jig here, and I picked that up and grabbed it. And I've been using this for years, indoors, outdoors, all different thickness woods. And this thing is bulletproof. It's it's just taking a real good beating, and it's still like brand new. You can see this one does have a lot of good indexing points for all different materials, and I find that to be very handy. The drill adjustment there also includes a bunch of different depths for different material thicknesses too. That really is a handy feature. But it's that one. Let's go here. These are the clamps I've been using for it. It's a pair of Harbor Freight pliers that I bought for $3 back when I bought the R3 fixture, and it's been really great, no problems. And this jig here that I just purchased came with a free clamp, and that was kind of what suckered me into buying it. But you can see this clamp's not all that great. The adjustment there feels like it got gravel in it or something. It's real coarse and rough, and all kinds of little sharp edges where rivets are in there and stuff. And it just doesn't look like the Kreg quality. But it was free, so I guess you get what you pay for in this case. And then here's the jig. This is a 320. They do have a 310 jig that's only one arm like it, but basically I wound up getting it on Amazon. Even though Kreg had a free clamp, they charged the extra shipping, so it did wind up costing an extra $6 for this over the one without the clamp. So it really wasn't free. But this is what it looks like. It's the basic 320 clamp comes with the three little pieces there that snap together, and then there's a little thing that snaps in for mounting the clamp on. And actually I found out this clamp is really too little to be useful for this jig anyway, so it's really there must have been just something they wanted to get rid of. But it's got this little thing here that you can lock on the clamp, and then it locks into the fixture here. There's little sets of pockets there, and it's supposed to lock in like that middle pocket on the bottom there, but I'll show you in a little while. They molded it so it just doesn't go right. But basically that's supposed to be so you can just clamp this in place one-handed. And I guess it will work good with a bigger clamp. But one of the cool things about this clamp is the Allen key for adjusting the depth color. Actually comes with a little depth gauge on it there, you can see. And you just take the wood that you're going to be, joining together, and you line up, hook that edge on there. You can see that line there says 3/4 of an inch. So you just use the key then to slide that collar up and down. Now the drill itself has 3 circles with numbers in them etched on it. And you can see there's a 1/2, a 3/4, and a 1.5. And according to the material thickness that you're using there, you just take that circle there, and there's a hole in the collar there that you just line up. Oops, I dropped it. You just line up with the hole, perfectly with the hole in the collar, and your drill is set to the correct depth. So you do not need, it's real easy to set, and you do not need, any kind of other jig or anything to check it. So there it goes. It took me 2 seconds to set up for the 3/4 inch. And like I said, it's got 1/2 and 1.5 on it also. So you can see the jig is really pretty simple. It's lightweight plastic, nothing really fancy, but it does have a real easy to set adjustment for the edge stop on these, and then that's also got the 3/4, the 1/2, and the 1.5, and they snap in positively and slide real easy. So this is a real simple fixture to use. And they do have a nice lip on them that you could grab onto the edge there too. So it's really, they did put some thought into that. And these here kind can come apart. Now that's a 3/4 inch spacer in the middle, and that's an 1.5 inch spacing between the pocket holes there. I think my other jig was a 1 inch spacing. But you see, if you pull back and twist, you can separate these into, use them as individual units, like if you're going to put a pocket hole on each side of a plywood sheet or something. Or you can put them together there to get 3/4 inch center pocket holes, or you can buy a set of, they do have a set of spacers that you can buy, or I bought this expansion kit here, which is one spacer, and it's also another drill guide, so I can actually on wider pieces I can set up to drill 3 pocket holes. And this is basically the exact same parts, just sold separately, and they do snap right together nice with the original parts. Everything fits good. The first couple of times, I have to tell you, it's a real tight fit. You really have to push to get them, to slide in place and to lock and everything. But you just put it in, twist it, and then slide it back. And there I'm just showing you, I'm putting in just an extra spacer in the middle there to get a little different spacing on the jig there. And like I said, you can buy just the short spacers also and go even wider if you want. So if you're going to be doing a lot of the same size parts, this really is nice. You don't have to move the jig. You can set it to the exact width that you want. It's kind of like a kid's Lego set. You can build whatever you want with it. So I'm just going to slide that extra spacer off there, and then you can see how easy it is to change this around, and it does really lock together nice and tight and everything. So I don't know how it'll be over time, but I think it'll last. And there we are, all set up for three pocket holes. Like say if you're doing rails or something like that for under a table where you have a little wider thing, and you just set it up and clamp it on, and you're ready to go. There is a nice piece of rubber on the bottom to help keep it from slipping, unlike the other jig. But this here is just kind of a major pain in the ass. You can see it'll fit in that top hole easy because there's no other plugs in there. And the clamp will fit in there. But it's not going to work on a very wide piece of wood or anything, or very thick. So you're kind of limited to the usefulness of that clamp. But this is kind of just showing it in the top there, and that's one you can't use that hole. That's the only one that really works good, but you can't use it because it blocks the chip ejection points. And there you can see it will lock on my old Harbor Freight clamp there also. And I'm going to weld a little disc on there just to make it the same size as the Kreg, because this clamp I feel is a much better clamp to use, and it's just the right size and everything, and it works nice and smooth. So I'll modify that someday when I get a chance. And there you can see that little stopper that goes down in. It'll go in the top set of holes. It'll go in that next set of triangle holes, but that also blocks the port there. You can see where the chips eject. And where it's supposed to go is down there, but see, they put that little molded in tab that locks them together, and there's no way to get this thing to seat down in there. So I'll probably take a little die grinder maybe in the future and try to grind that around. It would be nice if Kreg actually offered a replacement for this that did have a pocket cut out of each corner so you could use it without a problem. So I'm just gonna put it in the top for now because that's the easiest to work. And just for those of you that haven't ever used pocket holes, I figured I'd just drill one and just show you how they work. And that clamp really is not good for anything. So that was the sucker clamp that made me buy it, but I'm really glad I bought it anyway because the clamp doesn't mean that much to me. So you just you just put it in place and then lock it on. This is a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, and it's set at the 3/4 inch settings. And as I showed you before, I had the drill set at the 3/4 inch setting also. So you just line that up, and having a nice sharp drill bit is really, makes this easy too. That was one of the main reasons I started looking. I originally started looking just for replacement drill bits, and somehow I wound up with this jig. But there you can see how quick and simple it is to drill the holes, and you can you can do it across the big sheet. You can just move it and reclamp it, and move it and reclamp it. But there's what happens if you clamp it on that top set of holes where it works best. You keep the chips in there. So I'm just showing you that until I figure out how to get it to fit down in there a little better. And once you got those, got them drilled, these Kreg jigs, every time you get a perfect hole. No matter how many times you use them, they really do stand up. And I've never seen any wear on the other ones. So now I'm just taking the recommended length pocket screws. These are the 1.5 inches, and a coarse thread for the plywood. And I'm just going to stick these two pieces of plywood together to just kind of give you an idea, if you haven't used these before, exactly how the joint works. Now you can do parts like this. You can do face to face, edge to edge. There's all kinds of combinations you can do with these jigs, so they're not limited. You do get an extremely strong joint that basically never loosens up. It's better than just a glue joint. Those screw threads really do hold good, and you can see nothing protrudes the other side, and it's a real quick, simple way to get a joint. Now, looking in the book, I just opened it up, and they do show you clipping it down in that third set of holes. So, they definitely didn't figure for that when they molded that plastic piece. There's so many failures anymore in products that you buy. It's amazing. It makes you wonder who's designing them. So that seems to be the only thing, my only complaint with this jig is they could have done a better job in that area. It would be nice if they did mold up, replacements for these that did have the clearance in them, but like anything else, I doubt they ever will. And you can see it fits in that one down there if you're doing a single hole, and that's it. Great idea for implementation. So jigs do snap together tight. And here's one other little feature that I really like about this. You can snap those stops off the end there and have a basically a short jig. And they designed this so that the that little stop there, you see that's a 3/4 setting, is in line with the bottom of it when you snap it apart. So it's all set up to go back and put pocket holes in a 3/4 piece of material. So if you put something together and you want to go back and add pocket holes later, or you want to stiffen something up that's wobbly, you can just take this, snap them off, and then you can clip this on. And here's about the only place where that little clamp will work, near an edge like that. And then you can just go back, in a second, and you can go across the part and add screws later to really help stiffen something up, or fix an old squeaky chair, or things like that. And there you can see how quick and easy that was, just to add another one in there. And that was a feature that I really enjoyed on the first little one that I bought. And I'm going to hold that up alongside here. You can see basically they've copied that. They've made it a lot lighter weight in the new ones, but same size, same locations of everything and stuff. So, pretty much this is just a new take on the old jigs that they used to have. Nothing really different. So all in all, it's it's a great addition to the my Kreg pocket hole screws, and it would have been nice if they had built this case so it would hold at least one set of these extensions, but they they didn't. And that clamp is kind of like a sucker thing to get you to buy it, I think. And I guess it doesn't really matter to me anymore, but it's really not the best clamp. And really, I would buy one of these R3s before I bought that new jig. The R3 is so much more usable at different material thicknesses and stuff. And always use the Kreg screws because they don't snap, they last, and they have a really good grip on them. And I bought this box for $18 on Amazon if you watch for a sale. And then I use the old box for the exercises that don't come with the kit. And this is the little jig here that got me hooked on the Kreg pocket holes. And I'm sure glad that I bought it when I did. And one thing I will tell you is I would never buy another one of these Automax Kreg clamps again. This thing is total garbage. It does not clamp right, no matter how many times you try it or adjust it or lubricate it. So, I kind of would recommend that you get the extension there. And it does come with a couple of screws and, a place for everything in the case there. And if you look at the bottom, there's a hollow spot that really you could have put the that extension in if you had molded that down a little bit, but that's just kind of an afterthought looking at it. And you can see this clamp says made in China. I looked all over the rest of the Kreg jig and the box and the packaging, and it has no country of origin on it. It doesn't say made in the USA, so I'm guessing it's all made in China these days. And that may be why these clamps are, kind of like they are. And then I've got everything packed away in one drawer to keep it all together. And, it does get a lot of use in my shop. And you'll see in all videos that I, pretty much do use these Kreg jigs. And this one will be a great addition. But I just thought I'd, share my first look at this thing and, show you how versatile it is and how it can be taken apart and moved and stuff like that. And, I know it's going to work just like all the other Kreg jigs, so I have no doubts about that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.